Welcome back, builders. I wanted to bring you in for another quick little guide here, this time about what may be one of the more controversial buildings in the game, oddly enough to say about a roguelike city builder single player game, and that's the workshop. This seems to be a building that people either absolutely love or absolutely hate. And I think the reason is it's not a building that you generally start with. You don't unlock it until level 13 on your account progression, so it's not something you're used to using. You're used to using its little brother, the crude workstation. And the crude workstation is something that you have to use most openings, if not all. Get your initial resources for building other buildings. And generally speaking, one of your early game goals is to get as many of the resources that you're creating here out of here and into a different building where it's more efficient. Anything is more efficient than a no-star recipe. So I think it has a lot of just negative connotations with it just being called workshop. You're like, oh, I hate the workshop. I always want to get something better. But the big thing about the workshop is if you get it early, you take the same exact recipes for planks, fabric, and bricks, and you go from no stars to 2 stars. 2 stars is totally viable. You do not need a 3-star recipe for even planks, which I would say is probably the biggest one because it's just how many planks you need. And if you're having to sell packs of building supplies, you're probably making them out of planks. But 2 stars, you can totally get through the game with that. 5 wood for 2 planks, that's totally fine. If you get any bonuses to production, that'll only increase the efficiency here. The problem with the workshop, I would say, is if you don't get it on your first couple picks, like you can see here, I'm at the very beginning of my game. I've got my initial 3 unlocks. I happened into this as my first pick, actually. I would grab that almost every time. I mean, it'll always depend on what your other choices are, but I now know that I have a decent production for all my building supplies, and I don't feel pigeonholed into picking a building I otherwise wouldn't want because it has a material that I need. Now I'm completely unlocked myself from that. I can pick whatever building I feel would be best for my situation, or for completing an order I've picked up, or for making a trade good that I want, or the items I need to provide a service, or better food. I do not have to worry about materials. Now, maybe you could say, oh, well, the pipes are really bad. How many pipes do you really build on most maps? If you're like me, I very rarely build more than maybe 4 to 8 extra pipes. Now, that can change depending on your map. If you have metal just oozing out of your veins, yeah, sure, maybe you're gonna pipe everything. And I have had maps like that where I end the game and like everything is running on rain punk full bore. I have people running around with napalm like crazy trying to stop the entire village from being taken over by the blight rot. It's fun, it's cool, you produce things like crazy. But most maps, for me at least, don't get to that point. I generally have a main couple production buildings, usually some sort of food, usually something that I'm turning into packs, and the supply chain for that pack, I have those running on Rainpunk. So I would say that this really doesn't matter. You still can produce them. I'm at the point now, because I have this building, I also do not need my crude workstation anymore, so I'm just going to remove it. Just like with other buildings, the workshop also can be piped. Just like other buildings, it has the same bonuses, so you can turn up the efficiency. So by 50% more efficiency, it's like having a third person here. And you get the reliability for that extra 25% chance to get double yield. That's super, super vital, because that's 25% extra yield for all your building supplies. Generally speaking, I do struggle a little bit if you've got a supply chain that needs a ton of something. A ton of fabric, a ton of planks. But in that case, maybe pick up another building, maybe that 3-star building that you had available, or maybe just plop a second workshop. And you can have that workshop focus on one resource and the other one can work on the others. So I feel like the flexibility of the workshop alongside its decent to good efficiency is what really sells it for me. If you are one of those people that just loathes the workshop and you will never pick it no matter what, leave a comment below and tell me why. Maybe I've got rose tinted glasses here because I've had good experience with it. Maybe I've just never had that run where somehow I end up with the lumber mill and the brickyard and the clothier, and I just, oh well, I guess there's no reason for my workshop, that's a dead recipe. But I mean, if I was at that point in a run, I'd be happy because I've probably already beaten the map and I wouldn't care that I used this building to carry me through the early game. Alright, I hope that was another quick and helpful video for you guys. If it was, don't forget to leave a like below. That just lets me know that I'm doing something right.